Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings. For Week 13, we do have a game on Thursday night between the Cowboys and the Saints. Should actually be a pretty fun game to watch. A lot of good fantasy options in this game, at least at the top of the player pool, value-wise. Not a ton I love, but should be a fun game to watch. Should be a fun game, to root for players. So we're going to take a look at the Showdown slate, go through the player pool, and talk about some of my favorite options. We'll also construct different lineups, see what we can do if we go with one of the top guys in our captain slot, if we go cheap at captain, what it allows us to do. Just try and cover as much as I can in this video. Before we do get started though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. Really does help me out a lot, and if you are new to the channel, if you enjoy these showdown videos, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. I do upload these every week, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these videos. I also make videos on the main slates as well. I did upload my Week 13 NFL video for the main slate earlier today on Tuesday. This video is going up around Tuesday afternoon. My Week 13 main slate video went up earlier today, so if you want to check that out, I would appreciate it. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the showdown slate. So like at the top of the player pool, you've got your obvious studs: Kamara, Michael Thomas, Zeke, Drew Brees. Then you got Prescott, Cooper, Amari Cooper, Mark Ingram, even like Traquan Smith at 6,800. A lot of good options from like 11K to 6K. And then when you get down below 6K, that's when it really starts to thin out. Guys you don't really feel great about: Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley. The kickers: Allen Hurns, Kirkwood, Ben Watson, Dan Arnold. Like, these aren't guys you're going to feel great about, but we're going to have to roster some of them because we can't just play all the studs. So I'll try and hit on some value plays I do like, and obviously we'll talk about the studs. So at the top, I think my favorite stud play is probably Kamara at 11.8. Michael Thomas here against Byron Smith. I'm kind of concerned, not concerned, but Michael Thomas, I don't see him going off in this game. I think I'd rather play Kamara over Michael Thomas. And Zeke is also in a tough spot as well. New Orleans has been one of the best run defenses this year, not allowing a ton of rushing yards a game. So this is kind of a tough spot for Zeke. I'm not worried that Zeke's going to just get stuffed every time he runs the ball, but I don't see Zeke going off for 200 rushing yards in this game and being a guy you have to have. So I think my favorite pay-up option would probably be Kamara, but I really like going a little bit cheaper. Dak Prescott's probably my favorite play at 9K, just when you factor in price, factor in matchup. Like I said, New Orleans, they have a really good run defense, but through the air is where they've really been burned this year. This is a good spot for Dak. He's been playing well lately. He's 9K, so he's a lot cheaper than some of the other options at the top. You get some savings if you go down to him. And like I said, he's been playing well lately. This is a spot at home where I think the Cowboys can put up points. And this game definitely has a lot of shootout potential. So really like Dak at 9K. He's probably going to be my captain in a lot of lineups. We'll see what we can do if we play Dak at captain. I do like pairing him with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper really starting to show that, he's the guy they wanted. And the Cowboys are starting to utilize him like their number one receiver. Getting close to double-digit targets a game. 9 targets last week against the Redskins. Had 8 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just a monster game from Amari Cooper. I'd expect another pretty big game from him. He's probably going to be guarded by Marshawn Lattimore, who is a very solid corner, but Cooper should still get the targets. Dak really doesn't have a ton of guys to throw to. Amari Cooper, definitely his guy. He should get 6-7 targets minimum in this game. So I like pairing Dak and Cooper. And then on the other side, you've got cheaper plays I like. Traquan Smith, if he's able to play for this game, he is listed as questionable. He did not play on Thanksgiving. I have a feeling he should be ready to go for this game. And if he plays at 6,800, he's probably the best, cheaper option you can get from the Saints. When Traquan Smith has been healthy for the Saints, at least as of late, he's been really good for them. Against the Eagles, he had a monster game. He was not healthy last game, like I said. I would have been very high on him. I did have him in some of my lineups on the Thanksgiving Day slate. Had to take him out last minute. But if he's able to go 6,800, love Traquan Smith. If I'm going to be fading Michael Thomas or not having that much exposure to Michael Thomas, then somebody from New Orleans is going to have to pick up the slack, and I think it is Traquan Smith that does so. You do have Mark Ingram right there in price as well, and I do like Mark Ingram here, especially when you factor in his price of just 7,600. Like Dak, Cooper, Ingram, Smith, I like all 4 of those options. When you look at their price tags, you could probably play at least 2 of those guys and probably still fit in one of the top tier plays as well. But now let's talk about some of the value plays. So like Michael Gallup, I think, is a value play that's in consideration for me. He has solidified himself as the number 2 receiver behind Amari Cooper. He's been getting more targets every week. He's been playing more snaps. Got 6 targets last week against the Redskins. Although he did not have a good game, just 2 catches for 19 yards, he still got the targets. He's got 5 targets the week before that, 6 targets. Although Michael Gallup has not had a big game this year, the targets have been there lately. On these showdown slates, we're really just looking for guys that are going to be on the field that could potentially score a touchdown, and I think that is Michael Gallup at 4,400. You have Beasley for cheaper, who I'd probably feel maybe safer in, because Cole Beasley, he's been there for a while. But as of late, Cole Beasley has not really been involved, hasn't seen a ton of targets, just 2 targets last week. He is 4K, he's cheaper than Michael Gallup. I could see going to Beasley. Both guys I think are in play as just value receivers if you're trying to go cheap and fit in a stud or two. And then the one guy I want to mention for really cheap is Keith Kirkwood. He's 2,400. If Traquan Smith does not play, then Kirkwood definitely becomes probably one of the better value plays when you factor in his price tag. Last week against the Falcons, with Traquan Smith out, Kirkwood got 3 targets, only had 1 catch, but did find the end zone. It was a 5-yard catch. They got him a touchdown, 7.5 DK points. Kirkwood has not shown a lot of upside, but like I said, it's a showdown slate. We only have a minimal amount of players to choose from. Getting a guy this cheap that's going to be on the field, that's going to get some targets, I do like him, but only if Traquan Smith is out. Traquan Smith plays, and he's definitely one of my favorite options at 6,800. But that's probably it for the player pool. The guys that I really am going to be in consideration for me, Brandon Marshall, maybe if he's active at 1,200, we could go to him, but that's news we're going to have to kind of wait on. So now let's see what we can do if we build some lineups. Let's look at different roster constructions. So I mentioned really liking Dak at captain. Let's plug him in at 13.5 in our captain spot and see what that allows us to do. Let's see if we can play Dak and Kamara together. And then we obviously probably want to pair Dak with somebody. Might be hard to pair him with Cooper, but we'll see if we can do it. If we go with Cooper, taking into consideration that Traquan Smith is healthy and able to go, I'm going to plug him in at 6,800. And that would leave us 4,850 remaining per player. So if we wanted to play like Michael Gallup, we'd be leaving a lot of salary on the table. I doubt there's a way we could get in Mark Ingram, because like these 6K plays are not plays we want to go to, just backup quarterbacks who aren't going to play. So it's really either get up to Mark Ingram or go down to Michael Gallup. So if we plugged in Ingram, that'd leave us 2,100. We could play the Cowboys defense, even though I really don't like that play. Dan Arnold, you could go to, I guess. I don't even know he's been getting targets. He did get 6 targets last week, 4 catches, 45 yards, and a touchdown. I guess you could go to Dan Arnold at 1,800. That could be a lineup you use right there. Dak Prescott and your captain with Kamara, Cooper, Traquan Smith, Mark Ingram, and Dan Arnold. I could see using that lineup. If we want to go a little bit cheaper at captain, there really aren't a ton of cheap captains I love, but probably Traquan Smith would be my favorite cheap one if he's able to play. If we plugged him in, then we could definitely get at least one of the studs. I'd say, so since we went with Smith and our captain and we're banking on him having a decent game, I doubt that means that Michael Thomas really goes off. So let's go with Zeke in this lineup just to see what we could do. If we went with Zeke, we could definitely play Dak and Cooper if you want to do that, but that might be a little bit too much. So let's just go to Dak, not play Cooper. Then you could probably go with Mark Ingram at 7,600. That'd leave you 6K remaining. You could definitely fit in a value play. Or if you wanted to play Cooper at 8,200, that'd leave you 3,800. You could play the kickers if you wanted to do that. I don't think we could get up to another stud. If we want to play Drew Brees, that would leave us 1,400. Josh Hill, I don't think, has really been getting any targets lately. No, he hasn't really been involved. We would be just short of Dan Arnold, which I would honestly like that lineup if we could get up to Dan Arnold. Definitely can't play Drew Brees, though, in this lineup. But you could play Cooper and then play one of the kickers, Will Lutz, or the Cowboys kicker. So that's another lineup you could do. I do like going cheap with Traquan Smith in your captain if he's able to go. Mark Ingram as well, I think, makes sense as a cheaper captain. You definitely want to fit in at least one of these 10K and above guys, whether it's Brees, Elliott, Thomas, Kamara. You're going to want at least one of those guys, if not 2 or more. It's just going to be hard to fit multiple of them in just because there isn't a lot of cheap plays I love. But if you go cheap with Traquan Smith, it allows you to fit in at least one. If we just Kamara, Elliott, 5,600 remaining, you could go Dak. Definitely can't pair him with Cooper. You could probably pair him with like Michael Gallup at 4,400. Then that would leave you enough for the kicker. If you went to Beasley, that would leave you enough for the Saints kicker. So I do like doing that. Obviously, Amari Cooper, you're not playing in this lineup, so you're banking on him not doing as great. and maybe Michael Gallup having a bigger game. You do have Zeke in this lineup with Prescott, which maybe isn't something you want to do. Let's see if we went down from Zeke to Drew Brees. That would allow us to get up to Beasley, who probably has more upside than a kicker does. So you could do that right there. Don't mind that lineup at all. You got a lot of guys with upside. You got at least one of the studs. You got both quarterbacks, Prescott and Brees, and two receivers who are going to be on the field in Gallup and Beasley. Even though they might not have the most upside, still going to be on the field. So I do actually like that lineup quite a bit. Probably my favorite build out of all the ones I've made so far. Definitely wouldn't mind playing that lineup come Thursday. But yeah, guys, that's probably it for this showdown slate. These videos are usually quick. I usually just spend about 10-15 minutes going over the slate, talking about some of my favorite plays, roster construction. If you enjoy these videos, just make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my new ones. And like always, if you've got any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. I would appreciate it if you guys would follow me on Twitter. Also, you can comment anything down below in the comment section. I'm always reading my YouTube comments, seeing what you guys have to say. Appreciate all the feedback. But yeah, guys, good luck Thursday on the showdown slate. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.